What is going on, everybody? It is Noobski94, and today we're going to be talking about the artifact weapon Scythe of Elune for balanced druids. So to start things off, I wanted to stress to you guys the importance in placing your artifact talents in the proper locations. When you originally get your artifact weapon, you're going to be spending around 200 to 300 artifact power. I can't specifically remember the exact numbers that you're going to be spending, but around 300 artifact power for your first talent, and then the talents will continue to increase in cost by about 100 artifact power. So you're going to be looking at your first talent being 300, your next one being around 400, your next one being around 500. Those aren't exact numbers, but you get the idea on how the expense is going to grow exponentially. Then once you get to your 13th talent, you're going to place it for about, I think it's like 1200 artifact power, somewhere around there. And then your 14th one is going to cost 6,840. This is a substantial jump in expense to your artifact power. So building your artifact weapon appropriately is quite crucial because the expense gets so ridiculously high and you're going to be kicking yourself for making the wrong choices during the early stages. Now you can reset the entire talent tree, but it's pretty expensive. It's going to cost you quite a bit of artifact power to do, and it's a bit of a waste. So why not go into the artifact weapon already understanding the way that you should build it? Now, to be completely honest with you guys, there is no one way to build your artifact weapon. There are many different directions you can go into for many different artifact weapons. For the Scythe of Elune, there's specifically two major directions you can go into, and it really depends on your playstyle. Now, the reason why I say there's two different directions is because you want to be building for one of your elite talents. Now, for balanced druids, you have 3 elite talents on the Scythe of Elune. You have Echoing Stars. Each time Starfall deals damage, it also damages another nearby enemy for 1,973 astral damage. Then you have Power of Gauldron. Star Surge has a chance to summon the Spirit of Gauldron, which immediately deals 93,988 arcane damage to the target. And then you have Moon and Stars. During Celestial Alignment, each harmful spell you deal grants 3% haste. So first you want to ask yourself, which of these sounds the most appealing for what I need it for? And you may not know exactly which one is the more beneficial one for you, which is why I broke down the 2 main paths, which is the path to Power of Gauldron or the path to Echoing Stars as PvP and AoE DPS. Now, what I mean by that is your Power of Gauldron, the way that the talents are is that it's really going to bolster your PvP effectiveness and single target damage. And the way that the path towards Echoing Star is laid out is that it's really going to help your AoE damage, and it's going to specifically help you complete world quests faster. Because as a balanced druid, you're capable of pulling massive amounts of mobs and bursting them all down very rapidly, which is going to speed up your process of completing world quests. So let's break down the 2 paths for you guys. Let's start with the path of Power of Gauldron. I define this path as the PvP path, or the single target damaging path. So starting off at Falling Star, increases the damage bonus from Stellar Empowerment by 30%. Now this is going to be 10% per rank. By your 3rd rank, you're going to be going up to 30%. This one is balanced between PvP and PvE. It simply is increasing the damage done by your Stellar Empowerment by 30%. It's just raw extra damage. Then you got Light of the Sun. Reduces the remaining cooldown on Solar Beam by 15 seconds when it interrupts the primary target. I see this as a major PvP move because silences are most beneficial in PvP. Of course, it's very important to have silences and interrupts in PvE, but to have the cooldown shortened is very beneficial for PvP scenarios. Then you have Touch of the Moon. When you take damage, you have a 15% chance to heal yourself for 76,900. Cannot occur more than once every 20 seconds. It's just a flat heal, a 15% chance that you're going to get a whole bunch of health back, which is obviously great in PvP, helps you survive, and it also is very beneficial in world questing because if you're pulling a lot of trash mobs and you're DPSing them down, having a bit of extra defense like that is going to totally allow you to pull more mobs and give you a higher survivability. And then finally, Power of Gauldron. Star Surge has a chance to summon the Spirit of Gauldron, which immediately deals 93,988 arcane damage to the target. My Star Surge is currently doing 150,000 astral damage, so Power of Gauldron is adding about 2/3 of that damage on top of Star Surge, almost doubling the damage of Star Surge. Now this is great because it gives you this random burst capability. You know, in Arena you're going to try and burst on a target, and then also the Spirit of Gauldron is going to pop out of nowhere, and it's really going to help you push down the target. And it's also wonderful for single target damaging for boss fights and whatnot. Now it says chance to summon spirit. Now what does chance mean? It doesn't actually give you a number. Well, I've been hitting a lot of target dummies, and it seems to me that the spirit will appear about 20 to 25% of the time. So about 1 in 4 to 1 in 5, you're gonna go ahead and get a Spirit of Goldrinn. So that's the direction I personally built first, because I thought, hey, going into Battlegrounds, going into Arena early on, it's going to be really fun, right? Give myself a little bit of PvP capability, and then the idea of Power Goldrinn, a lot of single target burst capability. That's a nice move to have. Now, going down the hilt of the Scythe, we got Scythe of the Stars. Increases the critical strike chance of your Star Surge by 24%. Now, I do have a relic on my weapon that's going to increase that by an additional 6%. But initially you're going to get 6% per perk. This is all around awesome. This is great for PvP or PvE. It just simply increases the critical strike chance of Star Surge. Building haste as a primary stat as a Moonkin, it's good to have a bit of extra crit like this. And then you got Star Blind, which is your next one down, which only has 1 rank. And it increases the radius of Sunfire by 5 yards. So when you use Sunfire on a target, it's going to apply itself on all the other enemies around that target in a 5-yard radius, which is really good. You can do AoE dotting now. So Sunblind is awesome because it's going to double up the radius of Sunfire by an additional 5 yards. So this is going to increase it to 10-yard radius. So when you're out there doing world quests and pulling large amounts of mobs, you can just use Sunfire once to apply it to all of your targets and then continue on with your rotation. Totally cuts back a lot of time and worrying about applying multiple targets. And then you got Bladed Feathers. Moonkin form increases your armor by an additional 25%. So at rank 3, I think this is going to go up to 75%. This is a no-brainer for PvP because, of course, with 75% increased armor, you're going to be taking less melee damage. But it really helps you with world questing because almost all mobs, a lot of mobs are caster mobs, but most of them are going to cast a move on you or something and then run up to you and do melee damage. This is going to allow you to sustain yourself a lot longer and take a lot more mobs on at once while you're bursting them down in an AoE scenario. Lastly, Echoing Stars, which each time Starfall deals damage, it also damages another nearby enemy for 2000 astral damage. This makes it so the more mobs you pull, the more damage Starfall is going to do. You can go ahead and pull much larger groups you previously could and deal a lot more damage to them all and clear them out a lot quicker, which is going to allow you to go ahead and get your world quests done a lot quicker. So that's how I broke down the 2 main paths you can choose and the reason behind choosing these different paths. It's totally up to you on which way you want to go. And if you do want to divide yourself right through the middle and choose both directions, you can. Keep in mind, you may not get to your elite talent by the time you're going to have that significant artifact cost increase. And lastly, I want to talk about the last elite talent, which is Moon and Stars. During Celestial Alignment, each harmful spell you cast grants 3% haste. Now this is awesome because even Moonfire, it doesn't matter what move it is, even Moonfire, every single time you hit that Moonfire, you're going to get a 3% haste bonus and it's going to keep stacking until Celestial Alignment runs out. I see this more as a PvE move. I can see it really benefiting you in PvE because you don't have anybody that's on your ass. Unless if you get a period of free casting as your Moonkin in PvP, then you have a huge haste bonus. And of course with haste, your dots are going to tick a lot faster. If you want to take most advantage of your elite abilities, you want to go for Power of Goldrinn first and then go directly to Moon and Stars. You're only going to need to apply 2 points on empowerment that are going to be very expensive before you get to Moon and Stars. This is going to allow you to get 2 elite talents out of your Scythe very early on. So that's my guide on Scythe of Elune. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned a little bit of something. If you did, please give me a like, subscribe if you want to see more WoW content. I'm going to be trying to upload a video probably every second day or so here. And yeah, thanks a lot guys. I'll see you on the battlefield.